Hello, my dears. My name is Jane, and I'm absolutely obsessed about technologies, especially AI chatbots, about generative AI. I've been using AI chatbots in my daily work and in daily life for about 2 years, and I'll be absolutely happy to share my tips and tricks with you so that you can also use AI in the best possible way and to get the best results out of it and be as excited about it as I am. Let's get started. Asking ChatGPT but not getting good results? Stay tuned to see what to do. I'm not a technical person, but I'm absolutely convinced that technologies are there to make our lives easier, more pleasant, and bring us joy. And generative AI is definitely a technology that can help us to make our life far more pleasant because it's absolutely fascinating what this technology is about. It's basically like a big bro that has analyzed all of the internet, read all of the articles, read all of the books, and knowledge of pretty much any person in the world. And we can ask it any questions that we want. I'd say that communication with AI is not that different as communication with a human by a chat. Let's say when we communicate with a person by a chat, we also can see the emotions, we can see the body language as we would see that in person to person, but we still do communicate by text. And with AI chatbot, it's literally the same. Just imagine that in the other end, there is a super smart big brother that has read all of the internet, has analyzed all of the information on earth, and you can ask him any question that you want, and you will get like amazing, fantastic results. So I would say it was a game changer to me when I started thinking that AI is not just a tool that I can use. It's not just a summarization techniques. It's not just for generating emails or something, but as a huge mind, the biggest brain on earth that I can ask any questions and that will actually produce and reply to my questions. Let's get started. The key secret here is to be just detailed, just to describe what you want and to understand it. Before I start asking AI about something, I imagine in my mind what exactly I want to get out of it. It really helps me to get to the answer as fast as I can instead of doing it just step by step. I imagine which language it should be written off. I imagine what length it should be about. I imagine what exactly should be mentioned. I imagine what knowledge I already have about it. I imagine what knowledge the AI should have about it and also include it all. Give it as much context as I can so that AI can actually bring the magic to that and not act just as a web search. Google has analyzed the best prompts and came to the conclusion that the best prompts have 21 words in them. So when you write a prompt to AI chatbot, just write it approximately of 21 words. Include as much context, explain what exactly you want to get out of it, how you see the result, and so on. And then it will give you the best result. Because, writing a good prompt is like writing a scope of work. For example, if you reach out to a specific expert, to a specific person, you still have the idea in mind what work should be done, how it should be done, and so on. Communicating with AI and asking it to do something for you is exactly the same as with humans, but just with imaginary big bro. So the golden rule is to include in your prompt 4 things. The first, ask it to be a specific persona. Second, give it context. Third is give it instruction. And fourth, give it an example or format in which you wanted to produce the result for you. So about the persona, if the task is kind of specific, you mention a persona that AI should be. For example, if you wanted to analyze a text can be analyzed by people of different professions. It can be analyzed by a teacher, it can be analyzed by a copywriter, it can be analyzed by psychoanalyst, let's say. If you want it to be analyzed from a specific person, mention that specific persona. Then describe the context. AI has read all of the information in the internet and basically like the knowledge of the entire earth, but it still doesn't know about your specific situation because it was trained on information that was accessible in the internet. Oftentimes, information that we want is not accessible on the internet, so that's why it wasn't trained on that data. Third, give it a clear instruction. What exactly you want to get out of it. Write a text, develop a plan, develop an agenda, whatever. Ask it about it. And you can find some good examples what you can ask AI about in some prompt libraries or or across the internet. And fourth, explain it in details how exactly you want it to look like. So AI usually gives an answer, let's say this long, in a format that is like kind of similar to each other. If you want the text to be shorter, if you want it to be more precise, or just have some bullet points, or even if you want the answer to be just one sentence, write that it should be just one sentence. Otherwise, you would get the typical AI response. And also, what's really important here is remembering if you get a wrong response, there might be something wrong with your plot rather than AI is just stupid. So if you treat the technology as it's very smart and you just change your approach of communicating with it, it will give you better results than if you just assume that it doesn't work. For example, I had a case at my work when a boss wanted to get information about a company and send it to his boss. So he copied the link of a company and asked ChatGPT to give a summary about that company. And the ChatGPT gave a summary about website, that the website has information about the company, the location about the company, the products of the company, etc. But we needed a summary about the company itself. So I added only one sentence that said, write it as I would need to send it to my executive director. And then it gave us completely different result that had all of the information we wanted. But as you can imagine, there was a chance that my boss would say, hey, AI is just stupid and would never work with that again. While in reality, it's just only one sentence changes it all. And all that we made possible in only 5 minutes. So otherwise he would give this task to someone else to do that, and that would take, let's say, an hour. So try it. Try to change your prompts, because one sentence can change it all. Also, remember that AI usually gives results of a certain length. So if your task is super big, AI would not be able to do the best result for you because it tries to fit the response in that specific length. I have a friend and she wanted AI to analyze 200 movies. But usually if you give AI a list, it gives you a response of, let's say, 10 to 15 rows. So 200 is clearly a lot. So first you should ask for, let's say, 15, and then by 15, and then to repeat it for the next 15, and then for the next 15. So, and then you would give the response you actually want. If you have a very long task, let's say, for example, you want to write a book. You won't be able to write a book with AI with a single prompt. First, you need to start with like, I want to write a book about this plot with these characters. These are like specific characters. This is the ending I'd like to see in this book, and so on. The target audience of this book is, let's say, kids of the age of 10 to 12, so adapt the language to them, and so on. And then AI generates you some suggestions, and based on these suggestions, you can say, okay, let's imagine what would be the chapters of this book. And then it gives you the chapters, and then you can develop the book by the chapters. So despite you can't do that like all in one shot, you do that like step by step. So as in work, you know, just imagine what exactly it would take you to get to a certain result, and then ask it in step by step. Yalla, what's next? If we get like more philosophical about it, talking to AI is a way of communication, and communication has specific rules. Any communication has specific rules. It's all about being concise. It's about conveying your idea to another person so that the person or the machine could understand that. When we communicate with people, we usually think, what's their body language? How do they react to certain things? What are their emotions? And adjust our response based to that. But when we communicate with machine, we should just focus on the clarity of that and understanding the limitations of the AI. And that's it. So I asked the machine how to communicate with machine. Let's see what results ChatGPT generated me. I have written a prompt to ChatGPT. It has about 30 words in it. 30 words is about 3 lines. So 20 words is 2 lines. I say, I want to understand what is important for good communication with people and machines. Create 2 lists for people only and for both. Be precise, but add 1 sentence long explanation. And that's exactly what ChatGPT did. So he created 2 lists, what is important for people only and what's important for machines as well. So as we can see, for people, we really need some empathy, nonverbal cues, cultural sensitivity, personal connection, and emotional regulation. But at the same time, in communication between people and machines exist some similarities, which are clarity. It advises us to use simple, unambiguous language to avoid confusion. We need to provide context and explain what is relevant background to ensure accurate understanding. We need to be consistent, both with machines and people, to maintain steady patterns in communication and build reliability and predictability. We also need to seek feedback and seek and respond to input to improve mutual understanding. And we need to have a goal with people and with machines. So that makes sense. So here I use this prompt as handbooks tell me. But let's try to use another prompt, and just for the curiosity, let's go to Microsoft Copilot, which is built on exactly the same model as ChatGPT, but it can still vary in style. And let's just see what Copilot tells me. So here I'm being very informal. I just say, okay, what is important for good communication both with people and machines? I think there are similarities. And Copilot answers me as a human would. It says, you're right, there are definitely some similarities in good communication, whether it's with people or machines. And here are a few key points that stand out. You need clarity, you need context, you need active listening, you need feedback, and you need respect. Respect, wow. For machines, it's about designing interactions that respect user privacy and preferences. Okay, that's interesting. So, and it gives me a conclusion that both human and machine interactions thrive on these principles. And here is a prompting guide 101 from Google that I mentioned that says that the best prompts usually have 21 words in them. If you want to go deeper, you can open this handbook and see that Google suggests to add the persona, task, context, format, and then they give a lot of examples throughout this handbook. Thank you for your time. I hope you liked it. Like it and share with those who still don't use AI and want to know more about the tips and tricks. Thank you. Bye-bye.